What's up, Nick Havocaholics? These are going to be my final thoughts on the final experiment. And if you don't know, the final experiment was a trip that was taken by Jaren from the channel Jarenism and Witsit Gets It, the super smartest guy ever in the whole world, who is also a flat earther. Anyways, those two guys went down with a bunch of globe defending YouTubers, paid for by this guy named Pastor Will Duffy. So it was like $35,000 a person to send them down there. But the whole point was to send this group of people down. You know, you got people from each side, which we're going to get into that later. But they were all sent down there to witness what the sun does in the south. Because if it does a 24-hour sun in the south, that pretty much single-handedly debunks the flat earth map. Because if you have the flat earth map and the sun is supposed to be going around it like this, however, you're standing here at the edge looking out and the sun is doing this, that kind of is like the opposite. It's the exact opposite of what the flat earth map shows. So that's why it was so important. It wasn't so much that going down there was going to prove a globe, especially a spinning globe. The movement, that's something totally different, but it debunks the flat earth. That's the thing it does. It debunks the flat earth until someone can come up with a flat earth model where that makes sense, which they can't because it doesn't make sense. So that's really the main point of this whole thing. And what happened when they went down there? They saw a 24-hour sun, nonstop. And the whole argument now with the flat earth community is they think it's fake. They think it was a fake trip because the delusion and the cope is off the charts. But I could tell it was legit. You can tell it's legit just by the footage from Jaren. Not to mention Witsit Gets It. He's all excited when they get down there. They're like, oh yeah, check out this Antarctic marathon ice sculpture. We're going to take the M, we're going to switch it upside down. We're going to make it say Antarctic ice wall. And then like 12 hours later, it was like, brr, 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 like the sun's not setting, guys. We're getting blasted with this sunshine. And I guarantee you they were so happy to get out of there a day early, because I guarantee that was probably the most miserable trip for them. Just sitting around going, what am I going to say? What am I going to do with my channel? I feel a little better for Jaren because I don't think he's painted himself in such a corner as some of these other people like Witsit Gets It, who acts like we're on different teams. He's like, well, our side did this and their side did that and this. Why are there sides? I'm on the side of truth. And I notice that's a thing Witsit loves to harp on, is like our side versus their side, which right there, you're showing bias. You're showing that you're not open-minded to all the information. It's showing that you already have your mind made up and you're going to fight for your side. But back in like 2015, when this whole thing started, okay, we didn't have as much information. We didn't have as much information on what happens in the South. And that was always the big thing to me. In the North, all the puzzle pieces fit. Everything kind of makes sense in the North. The sun looks like it goes around, everything works. Gets up close in the summer, it's warmer. Goes down further in the winter, it's colder. Wow, that makes perfect sense, right? But on the flat earth model, you can't have the sun doing 24 hours in the South on a flat earth. It doesn't work. The flat earth shows the sun doing circles around this way. If you were standing at the edge or looking out and the sun's doing this, that's kind of the exact opposite. That's the opposite of what the flat earth map shows. So, you know, I just feel like they were having a long trip down there. They're probably like, wow, this is going to be terrible. Little did they know, though, they would be called shills and that they really didn't take the trip and that it was all faked. It was all a big green screen. That's probably what they weren't expecting, which is the most mind-blowing part of this whole final experiment thing. It's the most crazy thing. The delusion and the cope from the flat earth people it's unbelievable. They don't even want to talk about like what the sun is doing, how that affects their model. No, they want to just obfuscate and just say that the whole thing was fake. The whole thing was fake. And that Jaren's an agent and a shill for going down there. And he probably took like $5 million to do it. Dude, what? It's crazy. The stuff that they're coming up with, trying to act like it was fake. Like, oh my God, how come there wasn't a footprint? How come when you stepped on that tire track in the ice, there wasn't a footprint there? How come you had to go over to the side to pick up snow? Dude, I do winter hikes all the time. And let me tell you, if I was on the trail and somebody said, hey, pick up some snow, guess what? I'm gonna have to go to the side of the trail to pick up snow because everything on the trail is gonna be smashed down and hard. Kind of like the big common area that they were standing in. And not to mention, looked like they were walked on tire tracks. So the footprint is supposed to be heavier than the tire track that already went through there and smashed it down and turned it to ice. You're not going to make a footprint in that. How dumb can you people be? Like, when I heard that, I was like, what? Like, I knew these people were nuts. I've known these people were nuts since about early 2017 when there are no trees on flat earth came out and everybody just went full retard after one like 45-minute video. Everybody's like, oh my God, mountains are trees. I was like, wow, this community is stupid. This community will believe just about anything. And then the influx of the TikTok people just made it worse because those are some stupid people. Those are people that don't have an attention span longer than like 2 minutes. And they think they know everything now. So yeah, it's the flat earth community is hilarious. It's hilarious to look at the excuses that these people are making, or the one where they're talking about the shadow changing. Wow. How delusional can you be? There's a person walking, and then there's a person filming them that's also walking, circling around, moving the camera up and down, and their shadows changing. Oh my God, it must be a sound studio. Are you kidding? I can't even believe someone would say that out loud. And it's so funny too, because I hate to say it, but I did watch a Culture Cats video and he roasted that. He roasted that scene so hard. He had footage of like a marathon or some kind of a race or something that people were running. And there was a guy following them behind with a camera and the shadows all long. And a guy would come around from the side and his shadow would be long. Then it would get short. And then they hit a corner and all their shadows got short. It's like, dude, that's what happens. That's what happens when you're moving around. So yeah, the cope and delusion from the flat earthers it's wow, it's like next level. I heard Eric Dubay said there was no wind noise. Or what are you talking about, dude? There were people telling him to put a sock over the camera because the wind was too loud. What was that beep on the drone? What was that beep on the drone when they were flying to the side? Guess what, guys? Drones don't have audio. Okay, you're not going to have an audible beep on there. I don't know. I didn't see the drone footage, but unless they had the drone mic'd up with sound, you're not going to hear an internal beep on the drone footage. Come on. And then the whole thing with the vaping and stuff, it's like, dude, that's so lame. So lame. Or like Eric Dubay pointing out that like when the sun goes around, it goes from like a circle to a smashed down circle and then back to a circle. Right, because if they were faking it, they wouldn't know to make the sun a circle the whole freaking time. I mean, that's as dumb as like saying, look at that sun ray sticking off the right. It's longer than the one sticking off to the left. Therefore, that's faking in a sound studio. So dumb. They're not talking about the results of what was actually seen. They're calling Jaron and Whitsitt shills for going down there in the first place. And then they're saying that, the other people are saying that the whole thing was fake. I don't know. I feel like Jaron might have a chance with his channel. Whitsitt, he's more screwed because he has painted himself into the corner big time and he's still doubling down. He's saying that the whole thing was good for the flat earth now. Like, dude, stop with the cope. Jaron seems like he is like one of the only flat earthers former flat earthers that actually gets it. He's like, dude, this can't happen on a flat earth. Hello, it can't. How come no one can accept that? Like, I haven't seen anybody else, just a handful, maybe 2 or 3 people. I did watch the beginning part of Jaron's call-in show the other day, and I did try to call in, and I waited for 2.5 freaking hours, and I got super pissed off, and I hung up and stopped. I was like, dude, Jaron, why do you have to give a 30-minute soliloquy for every goddamn 99-cent super chat? It's a 99-cent super chat. You don't have to give a 30-minute answer when you got 10 people waiting online. Anyway, so that pissed me off. However, though, I feel like Jaron is one of the only ones that actually gets it. He is accepting the new information that we've been given. Back in 2015, when this was all pretty new, we didn't have all the puzzle pieces. We had a few puzzle pieces. And the few puzzle pieces we had made it look like a hippopotamus ass. Like, dude, this is going to be a hippopotamus that we're building here. I can already tell. Look at the gray leg, look at the gray ass. That's a hippopotamus ass. I can tell by the tail. But we didn't have all the pieces. And I felt like the pieces that we did have were not definitive. Measuring the curve from the ground on a sphere that's 25,000 miles around at the equator is going to be very difficult. We're super tiny. We're not going to see the curvature from down here. So these measurements that were taken from the ground, I feel like they lean towards flat Earth, but they're not definitive, because the globe people got their excuses on why why we can see that kind of stuff. So I felt like the puzzle pieces we had were not definitive, but they were leaning one way. We're like, yep, hippopotamus. However, we've just got a bunch more puzzle pieces now, and holy shit, it's starting to look a lot more like an elephant, which is what the elephant people were saying. They're saying, no, dude, it's an elephant. We've known it's an elephant for 2,000 years. It's not a hippopotamus, it's an elephant. And guess what? Now we've got these pieces. It's looking a lot more like an elephant. We can't say it's a hippopotamus anymore, unless it's some kind of new hippopotamus that no one's ever seen. They're like, so what are you going to do? Are you going to go back to the globe now? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm leaning globe. I'm done with the flat Earth. I'm definitely done with the flat Earth. I'm leaning more globe. I don't know if I'm full on globe, but I'm definitely like, wow, that probably does make more sense. And here's the thing. The globe people have calculations and measurements for everything. They can predict everything. The flat Earth people can't. It's as simple as that. The globe makes correct predictions. Flat Earth does not. Why would I throw away something that makes sense for something that doesn't make sense? Why would I do that? You know, I don't know how the water bends. I don't know how that stuff works. But you know what? The math works out. The math seems to work out. We seem to know where the sun and the moon's going to be all the time. However, on the flat Earth, wow, we didn't even know what the sun does. We don't even know what the sun does. And that's the biggest cop-out too, is these people that like, it doesn't matter what the sun does. That's God's handiwork. It doesn't matter what the sun, that's just God's handiwork. We don't have to know what that does. And it's so funny too, because the guy that was saying that it doesn't matter what the sun does because that's God's handiwork just put out a video talking about how the moon position debunks the globe. So it matters where the moon is, but it doesn't matter where the sun is. Okay, that makes sense. It's like people always said at the beginning, like, I don't want to be a flat earther, but that's where the evidence led me. Like people like Dave Weiss, who, real quick about Dave Weiss, wow, that guy is like doubling down. If you've noticed, ever since the final experiment went down, that dude's been releasing like 5-6 videos every day on his flat earth app thing, just trying to like flood the zone with other information, trying to make people forget about that. His whole map and app just got crushed. I mean, I'm sorry, but RIP flat earth, it's over. That map that you guys have, that's over. It's done. It's been debunked. It's been disproven. Come up with something different or go back to the globe. I realize these people like Dave Weiss, Eric Dubay, Witsit, I mean, this is like they're losing their job. It's like they're coming in Monday and it's like, hey, the plant is shutting down. Everybody lost their job. You got to go find another job. I realize that. That's probably what they're feeling like right now. So they're trying everything they can to hold on to their flow of money, their income. I get it. I've been fired. It's a sick feeling. Like, what am I going to do now with the rest of my life? Oh my gosh, I got to go find a new way to make money. And it sucks. You have to start at the bottom again. And that's got to be what these guys are feeling like. But guys, I got to go with the truth. And guess what? It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all to go, hey, guess what? Now the evidence leads back towards a globe. That's fine. I don't have to be a weird ass flat earther anymore. And especially if the flat earthers say that I was never a real one to begin with, shit, even better. Even better. I was a glober the whole time, guys. Secret glober the whole time. Yep. Don't have to worry about me. So yeah, guys, the flat earth community is looking like a clown show at this point. I realize in the Bible it says that like there's a tent on the flat earth or everything. Yeah, that tent is for the flat earth clown show that is currently going down. It's actually kind of funny. I mean, it's actually kind of funny because I can now see, like, stepping away, just how batshit crazy these people are. And I can see why people automatically just go, yeah, you're a flat earther, you're a crazy lunatic. I can see that because the way that these people are acting right now, wow, they're living up to it. And I hate to say this does actually pain me because this dude is a genuine asshole, but you got to give props to Jake the asshole. What, did he have this figured out back in like 2018, 2019? He figured this out and everybody made fun of him for it. Like, well, we don't know what happens here. We don't know what happens. And that's kind of the boat I was in. I was like, dude, we don't really know what happens in the South because we don't have any good footage of it. So I was always kind of like, you know what? From everything that we see here in the north, it kind of makes sense that the earth is flat. It makes sense that water doesn't bend. But I don't know what's going on in the south. And I've said that. You can go, if anybody's got any downloads of my super, super old videos, I said that. But now that we do know, it's a game changer. It's a game. You got to throw that AE map out. It's done. It's toast. RIP flat earth map. It's over. 2015 to 2024. It is what it is, guys. If you had to ask me right now, are you flat earth or are you globe? I would say that I'm heavily leaning globe. Heavily leaning globe. Because like I said, everything works on the globe. We have calculations, predictions. We have a model for everything on the globe, and it all works. We don't have that for the flat earth. So it doesn't make any kind of logical sense to throw away a perfectly working globe for a non-working flat earth that no one knows anything about, doesn't know what goes on in the sky at all. Oh, we don't know. Doesn't matter. Earth's flat. Doesn't matter what goes on in the sky. I don't ascribe to a flat earth model, therefore it doesn't matter what the sun does. We measure the earth flat. I don't ascribe to a flat earth model. We measure the earth flat. And we'll talk about it for 4 hours every single day. Ha! We're gaining people like crazy here. It matters not to us. Ha! Ha! Yeah, the flat earthers are obnoxious right now. I want to actually have nothing to do with them. Just shallow-minded, paranoid people that honestly don't know how shapes work. If you think that you can have that on your flat earth, a 24-hour sun in the south, it doesn't make any sense, guys. It doesn't, you can't. You can't. Flat earth model debunked. Debunked. Like I said, the trip really wasn't as much to prove a spinning globe as much as it was to debunk the flat earth model, which it clearly did. So I don't know, guys. I feel like maybe this flat earth thing was a big giant psyop that's been going on for the past 9 years. Could be starting to look that way. But like I said, if I had to pick one right now, I would say that I'm leaning globe. And that's just the way it is. Until I see something that makes sense, that makes more sense on a flat earth than it does on a globe, I don't see any reason to switch. It's not like it's going to impact my day-to-day life anyway. So there's really no point in getting all worked up about it, guys. These are all just my opinions, but I could be right.